Excited to this week's finally here. Really proud of our team for a great win this past week and really finishing up our home schedule undefeated. That's a great accomplishment for this group, and excited about the state championship being back in play. I think everyone missed it last year, both sides, so have the opportunity to get this game back going. An unbelievable, long-standing tradition in college football. So look forward to heading down to Columbia. I know it'll be a great game and a great environment. It always is when we go down, and so we look forward to that. And this is a good team. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're playing physical. They're playing with a ton of effort, and I think that's a reflection of what Shane has been able to do in a short time. They're 5-1 at home, so they played well there and play with a lot of confidence, and so it's a good team that has battled every single week. And one of the things that I think is impressive about them is what they've done in the fourth quarter against opponents. They've outscored their opponents in the fourth quarter, even games where they were down, and it would have been easy for them to maybe give in a little bit. They've never done that all year. They've competed, and so I think that again says a lot about what Coach Beamer's been able to do in a short amount of time. But it's a good football team. They've found a little bit of an identity offensively. Their quarterback 15 has kind of settled in and settled them down, and he's playing with confidence. He's got good poise and throws the ball well. But they have found the best formula for them to be successful. And they're running that football. And it's a very physical group, physical running backs. They got 4 guys. They play all those guys at different times. They've all had their moments throughout the year, but 11 and 20 are the 2 guys that have kind of gotten them over the hump in a run game here as of late, and they're just incredibly physical players. 11, you're trying to figure out who some of these guys are, and you're getting ready for the personnel. And I think, it makes a lot of sense when you look at him. I mean, he signed with Florida State, and he was a linebacker, played as a linebacker. And then he went to a junior college, and then went to South Carolina playing running back. So he plays running back like a linebacker. He has that type of mentality, and you see that. He's very physical. And then, he's 6.2 or carry, and then, 20, obviously, he led the SEC in rushing last year. So this is a really physical group of backs. We're very physical tight ends that do a great job. And then, their receivers are emerging. And 6 has become a playmaker. They get him the ball in all kind of different ways, whether it be down the field, double move, screen game, whatever. But he has really become a great playmaker for them, and they've just got some other guys that you see emerging with some confidence in 5 and 7 and 13. 7 is a speed guy. He's got a lot of juice to him. So this is just a group, like I said, that's playing with more confidence and have really kind of bought into what their identity is for this team. And then defensively, same thing. Early in the season, they were doing some things structurally that I think they had some confusion and things like that, and they gave up some big plays and got them behind. But they've really, since the Tennessee game, have kind of settled down and kind of settled in on what their identity is defensively as well. And I think that's been a reflection of a great coaching job, by their defensive staff. So very good group up front. These are physical guys. Number 1 is a projected first-round draft pick. 6 is an outstanding player, 99. All those guys, they got a deep rotation. 15's a great player. They play a bunch of guys up front. They've settled in on their backers and their secondary. And, again, just they've created an identity, and that's what's given them a chance to be successful. And you look at what they've done these past few weeks, beating Auburn, beating Florida. They go on the road to Missouri. And, kind of got behind. And, man, they came back and had a chance in that game late, 31-28, late in the game there. So just a team that really is playing together as a team very well. They've been very opportunistic. I think they've scored 4 times on defense. They've blocked 3 punts, blocked a field goal. So, from our standpoint, this game is critical that we take care of the ball, not give them short fields, and that we do a good job in special teams. Their kicker is excellent. He's 93%. He rarely ever misses. So, again, trying to keep these guys backed up on a long field and try to win the matchup when it comes to being able to run the football. That'll be a critical part of this game. But this is a good team, and we're excited about the challenge. And then also for us, this week is a special week. It's Thanksgiving. We all got a lot to be thankful for. And, look forward to having a great week with our guys and building toward a fun moment Saturday night.
That was a little different dynamic where you're preparing for a rivalry game, yet you've got a couple games right before yours that with Wake and NC State that could determine whether you guys go to the ACC championship game. How do you guys handle that with your team, with your guys?
I mean, you can't worry about it. I mean, you don't have any – focus on what we control. That's what we've been trying to do. I mean, we've done all we can. We've put ourselves in position from where we were to going into the very last weekend to still be and have a chance to go to the ACC championship, win the division outright, or be a co-division champ. I mean, I think that's a great accomplishment for this team, for sure. But it's not something we have no control over that, so you can't focus on that. You don't need to waste any energy. We just need to focus on where we are and what we're trying to do, and that's trying to win the state championship. If it's meant to be, it'll work out. If it's not, hey, we gave ourselves a chance, and you get ready for a great bowl game. But that's out of our control.
You touched on it briefly in the opening statement, just to have this rivalry game back after the hiatus last year because of COVID. What does it mean just to be able to play this game again after the break last year?
Yeah, is this the 118th game? Is that what it is? 118? 118th game? I mean, that's a long time. And so, this game, I have a great appreciation for rivalry games anyway, growing up in Alabama, for 33 years there and living the Alabama-Auburn experience, and that was just kind of a way of life. And that's one of the things when I came to Clemson I was thankful for, and I learned really quick. This is a great rivalry and a lot of historic rivalry, and it means a lot. It means a lot to the people in this state. It's one of those games where, it's rarely do you have you might have a husband-wife, Clemson, South Carolina, and it's no big deal when they're playing Tennessee or Georgia or Missouri or whatever. But in this state, when Clemson, South Carolina play, it impacts everyone. And, they're going to talk about it at church. They're going to talk about it at dinner. They're going to talk about it at their Thanksgiving get-togethers. And, because it's just a part of the DNA of South Carolina. And I think it's really fun to be a part of those things. It's better when you win, that's for sure. But it's fun to be a part of a rivalry game and all that comes with it, for sure.
Dabo, with the offensive line, do you feel like that unit's finally getting a little more healthy and gelling and playing its best football right now?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, we're it's been a mixed bag pretty much every week, but we were excited about last week getting Putnam back and having just the best available, most experienced guys we have, even though they're all sophomores and a junior in J-Mac. But, they're just way more experienced, more confident, more knowledgeable. You look back coming in this year, Trotter and Rayburn are redshirt sophomores, but this was their first time to really have an opportunity to play. And then Trotter was out till the Syracuse game with a broken hand. So, Walker Parks, man, he's had one bad game this year. He's had one game, and that was a game where he didn't practice but one day in a 2-week span. And, so practice it's still important. That's really the only bad game he's had. He's been very steady for us and his first-year starter as well and playing that type of reps. And then J Mack he's an all-conference player. I mean, we've been really, really fortunate that he's been able to stay on the field for us because he's by far definitely our best player, most experienced player, But all those guys, the gap has just closed a little bit, and they're just confident and just being able to, then you look at your youth at running back and developing confidence there, getting experience there, and those guys have kind of got their sea legs under them now and playing with a lot of confidence. And I think we've done some good things at tight end as well that has helped us. But definitely they're more settled than we've been at any point of the season, and more confident than we've been. And I got a big matchup this week. This will be a big challenge. These are some big, strong, physical guys up front.
Yeah, but recruiting-wise, obviously you guys have been able to go national over the past several years. How often do you feel like you and South Carolina are directly competing these days?
Not very often, really not. That's one of those things that, earlier when I first got here, I felt like we had a little more competitions, but we really very few, and we're very different. It's different places. It's obviously just the environments and things like that. And if you love Columbia, you're probably not going to like Clemson. And if you love Clemson, you're probably not going to like Columbia. They're just very different. They offer different things. Both great, but both offer different things. And so, and then we both have the same issues when it comes to our recruiting base. This is a small population when it comes to football players. Atlanta's got more people than the whole state of South Carolina, and so then you throw in that, okay, you got to be able to win in the SEC and the ACC. You got to be a good enough player for that level of competition, and then you throw in position need, academics, fit, all that stuff. That pool gets even smaller. And then you throw in that if and I experienced this at Alabama, when you're in a state like this with no pro sports, et cetera, and it's two like really great colleges with a big rivalry, Alabama, Auburn, Clemson, South Carolina, a lot of kids grow up, one way or the other. So, if a kid grew up and he's Clemson, and we offer him, it's an uphill battle, and vice versa. If a kid's growing up South Carolina, and they offer him, it's every now and then you'll have a situation where that could go either way, but usually not.
Dabo, last year when the SEC decided to cancel the game because of COVID, how disappointed were you guys to know you weren't going to get to play them last year, and how did that affect you somewhat in a way?
Well, it didn't really affect us, but we were certainly disappointed because it was a home game, and we didn't get the opportunity to play the game here at home. That's a big deal to everyone involved, on the Clemson side for sure. And but it is what it is. Both leagues made the decision to go conference only. It didn't really make sense to me. We got to go all the way to wherever. I don't even know where we all went last year, but wherever, pick a place. What? Yeah, we got to go to Notre Dame, but we can't hop on we can't, get a bus ride up. Just kind of silly to me. But when you're dealing with the COVID stuff, it didn't make any sense to me. It felt like there should have been some exceptions, out of conference, but those were decisions that the conference people made, and it was disappointing because it means a lot to the people in this state, and but it is what it is. It didn't really, it didn't affect us. It just was a disappointment for both sides. I'm sure they were disappointed too. An opportunity to, to have a tradition that you look forward to every year, and all of a sudden you can't do it.
Yeah, but there was a point early this season where we were talking about the lapses in execution on offense, keeping it very basic. As the improvement in execution has occurred over the last 4 or so games, how much have you been able to add to that?
Yeah, this was our best. This was this is the best tape to grade. It was fun. It's the way it's supposed to be. It maybe not always clean and finish, or maybe you could, some technical things, but just execution-wise, precision in what we do, targeting people, hands in the right spot. It was just great to see. But definitely, as we've gotten more experience and we've been able to coach guys, if you're a competitor and you're made of the right things, you're going to get better through failure. You're going to get better through mistakes if it's important to you. And there's no greater teacher than experience. I say that all the time. There just isn't. You can prepare, but until you get the experience in the game and the game slows down for you, it's hard. And so I think the game has slowed down for several of our guys. And it's going to pay huge dividends for us as we move forward for the next few years. We've got a very good foundation in place with some guys that are going to be good players. And they've taken some lumps, but it's these past few games, our execution and our precision in what we do, and just not turning people loose and everybody being coordinated. A guy might get beat, but just being coordinated together, 11 guys on the same page, has really helped us get better.
Does some of that speak to DJ pre-snap? Have you noticed improvement pre-snap for him, or at least when he's assessing what's happening?
Yeah. But I think it's more post-snap. That's where I think the most improvement has come from.
You mentioned experience being your greatest teacher. Well, there's a lot of young guys on your team who have never been in a game like this, let alone played in Columbia at night with the state championship on the line. Just how do you approach maybe this game with some of your younger players that you're going to lean on, to how to embrace the atmosphere that's certainly going to be raucous by the time the game kicks off?
Yeah, I mean, we played on the road several times this year. We've won a couple. We haven't played a complete game on the road. That's something I would like to see us do. We played our best, most complete game at home. I'd like to see us do that on the road for sure, and that's what it's going to take. But these guys, this is game, 12. So they know what to expect, and the main thing is focus on what we control. You can't worry about all that stuff. You got to have great preparation. You prepare them for the noise and all that stuff with your cadence and operational things, but still comes down to doing your job, doing it with great effort and toughness and physicality and great fundamentals.
Could EJ be back?
Not sure right now. He's kind of day to day. Last night he was with the trainer, so they wanted to really kind of test drive him, I guess, and see where he is. So we'll know a little bit more today and tomorrow.
Same thing with Agata.
Yeah, same thing. He won't be back this week. Yeah, he's not quite there, but he is better. He's definitely better.
With Pace and Shipley, are you seeing things on film that you weren't seeing earlier in the season that's contributing to some of their success?
Well, again, the game has just slowed down for him. Kobe, he played last year, but he didn't play a lot of snaps. So he was ready to go and got a little bit of experience, but again, not a lot. The more you play, the more confident you get. And as you have success, and then you make some mistakes too, you learn and grow from both of those things, and that's what you've seen in those guys. They're just very confident now in what we're doing. More discipline in their tracks, their footwork, more discipline in their protections, and just more precise. So that's what that's where they should be after a full season. Both playing with a lot of confidence, and I'm proud of them, proud of the development.
Are they also getting some better holes to run through maybe?
Oh yeah, everything. Playing, we're definitely better up front, but you look at Shipley last week, the first big run, we had an unblocked guy, and he just made him miss, and I think earlier in the year, we might get tackled right there, because your eyes are a little bigger, you're breathing a little harder, but as you play the game longer and things slow down, your eyes get a little smaller, your breath becomes a little normal, and next thing you know, your talent starts to, the game slows down and your talent shines a little bit. and it's not as much assignment as it is playing the game. You know, early on when you don't have a lot of experience, it's a lot of, you know, assignment and just really, you know, and then next thing, then you react to the game. But you know, now it's kind of like they're playing, and that's a reflection of just some experience that they've gotten through the year. But proud of those guys. Same with Maffa. You know, he got a little later start because we were trying to hold him, but he's done some really good things as well.